you. Hi, everyone. Like I said, I'm Flo from CloudNC. Just a little bit from my background. I started off my career recruiting for a big, massive unicorn tech startup called Palantir before moving to femtech brand LV, who I'm hoping people in the room have now started to hear of because they're brilliant. And I moved to CloudNC earlier this year, as people keep saying, a sucker for punishment because I love a physical product startup. In terms of CloudNC and what we're doing with onboarding, firstly, I need to give you a little bit of information and a bit of background to what we do as a company because it will help you kind of understand our challenges. So I'm just going to play this little video whilst I am talking. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's playing. Cool. So pretty much everything that you interact with in your life that has been manufactured has been touched by a CNC machine. Everything from your iPhone to the chairs you're sitting on, to the equipment that puts carbonated bubbles in your beer on a Friday, which is actually the part that you can see being manufactured here. CNC machining is removing metal from metal blocks. So we cut away the metal from metal parts to create things for various different industries, from aerospace to brewery. The way that is done is by a very skilled human who sits behind a machine and a computer and can sit for 1 to 100 hours programming that part to be cut by a machine. What our software is doing is automating that process so that in theory a client or a customer could drop a 3D file into our platform, the system would automatically create the tooling pathway and we would come out with a part like this, meaning it's a fraction of the time and the costs. What that means in terms of us as a business is that we have a tech hub in London, where we have about 40 people, as well as a 250,000 square foot factory in Chelmsford and Essex, where we have 6 CNC machines milling and cutting metal at all points. So we're not only making tech, but we are making physical parts that we have to ship to customers on time. It means that diversity in skill set and in role that we have is huge. Go to the next slide. Some of the challenges we therefore face in our onboarding process are our multiple sites, the different disciplines. This is actually a shot of our factory. We have everything from ex-Bloomberg engineers to apprentices who have just finished at college and are coming onto the shop floor to move metal parts around. We've got very different, therefore, first day needs. We look at health and safety in a factory is a very different health and safety in a London office. And we have very different manager abilities. Anyone from a scale-up startup in the room will know this is a challenge we all face. When you're scaling, you bring in young people to manage, and the skill sets are very different. And we have very different needs during probation periods. I've seen some great conversations around it. Is probation even necessary in tech scale-ups? It actually is very necessary when you're looking at manufacturing because it's such a traditional industry. And time. We need to scale fast, so we've onboarded 55 people this year. Most of those have been in Chelmsford. Our old system, so when I joined in January, we were sending out a lot of these. How many people have seen these big, boring emails that they get from managers? I actually did some calculations, and we were sending on average about 12 emails per new starter, and the most people I've onboarded in a month is 15. It's about 180 emails, and that doesn't take into account that demanding person from sales that wants to know what spec their Mac is, how much time it's going to take them to turn it on, and all the other things. So it's very, very time consuming when you've got 15 people to get through the door and you are a team of 2. So just to iterate, our system was very, very basic. We weren't collecting any data from our people. How do we know how well we're doing? Do we know people are enjoying that system? Do we even have the data to hold our managers accountable if people are leaving in those 3 months? Do we know where they're coming from? Do we know the reason why that is? We seriously knew very little about it. We were just shoving people into teams and going, have fun, go and have fun, enjoy. The communication was pretty poor. Even from me joining a Series A startup to another Series A startup, I was receiving all these emails like, I'm bored already, can we just get going, please? It's very dull, these black and white text. And we were plonking people in, giving them a laptop, giving them 30 minutes with HR, going, here's the handbook, over to your manager, enjoy. And we were having the odd check-ins when we had time to do it, which in a scale-up is, and at any organisation, is not difficult to, well, it's very difficult to find. So we brought in Enboarder, so we are a user of Onboarder. I brought that into the business in sort of February time. And I thought the best thing to do would probably to show you guys our workflow of what we have been doing. All the data I'm going to show you put together. This is all our pre-day one. I can't actually see it on my screen, so it's really tiny, but I was just going to highlight some of the cool things that we've done. Oh, the formatting is slightly dodgy, sorry about that. Basically, there's lots of different things that we've done that are super interesting, from automating hardware choices across all of our teams. They all have very different requirements, so each team has a different form that they receive per pre-day one, or that goes straight to office management. I don't see it. First day people turn up, their desk is set up with everything they requested, not just a hoodie, which is pretty typical of lots of startups. We give people a very rudimentary buddy system, so we pair people up and give them their contact details pre-day one, so our new starters have someone to reach out to that isn't just me or their line manager. That one is, we ask lots of information about our new starter before they start. We have notice boards all around our office, and our office management team pop that up on the board. So when we have a new person joining the business, it's, Steve is joining today, this is his favourite food, this is where he's come from, and this is what he's most excited about when he's joining CloudNC. We also do some basic data collection that we have to do during our HR process. So we do our right to work notifications and say, please make sure you bring in your passport. Do you give us permission to share out your birthday with the team? So we're not sending those additional emails. For our managers as well, so everything managerial is top side of the line. We give them a chance to reach out to their employees before they start and to get to know them, so that the contact has been made. As Steve said, that engagement pre-day one is super important. And I'll show you how we can kind of track that's actually happening. And the other thing we do is train people on our systems before they join the business. So they've got access to information on how to use Slack, how to use Notion, how to use Charlie HR, so that we're not having to sit there for 45 minutes to an hour going, click here to find this thing on Slack. This is what we do on Notion. So just some information on kind of the things that we do. So 30 days beforehand, I can't tell you how many people joined our factory and hadn't submitted their payroll information through Charlie HR, because tech is not a way that that problem is solved in traditional manufacturing companies. So just telling people you must get your payroll data in beforehand was a huge issue for me to just kind of wave goodbye to. We give health and safety information out to our employees before they start in our factory, get them to pick what safety boots they want, which is great because our office manager orders them. They're on their desk ready for day one. They come straight out onto the shop floor. And I admittedly stole this from Onboarder. So this is their idea, not mine. But a little map to where we are in Chelmsford, and the Pharrell Williams song, which one of my talent team was like, it was the best thing I've ever received. It was so cool. I was singing it the whole way here. So thank you for that idea, Onboarder. And then this is our post day one workflow. So just to show you that this doesn't stop at day one. After that, we're asking for continuous feedback from our team. How are they getting on? Do they feel like they know our values? Have they been trained in how we use OKRs? Do they feel like they're having a good relationship with their team thus far? Equally, we ask the manager the same things, so that there are no surprises then when we get to the end of probation period of the feedback that we're formally getting. I'm going to show you some numbers. Rosie and Jen have seen these and know that some of them are great and some of them are not. So these little green boxes, which are great, green means good, are the engagement that the team have had with the particular modules. Everything below the line is our new starters, and above is managers and myself. You can see that in our manufacturing facility, this has gone down really, really well. The engagement with it is super high. People are so excited about this, and the feedback has been really positive. The manager's stuff is not so great. We've definitely had drop-off in manufacturing. You often have a huge number of people reporting into one person. It's a massive challenge. Our operations manager had 300 people reporting into them at another manufacturing facility. So that's a massive challenge in itself. How do we get managers to engage with this new piece of tech? And how do we hold them accountable for these numbers going wrong? So some of the other things that we did really badly, sorry to anyone this offends, but we're going to go there, talk about Owen, sorry. We didn't train managers enough on our vision, and we didn't push that we are going to use tech startup initiatives in a manufacturing facility, which is breaking the norms, and we're going to try and push that. We didn't streamline our data. If anyone here is using Onboarder, you'll know that you have to name all the different modules. We did not do that very well. It takes me about 10 minutes to find out the actual module I'm looking for to understand the data that is coming from that. And we assumed things would fly in both locations. The buddy scheme that we put in place does not work in Chelmsford. A, because we don't have enough people that have been there more than 3 months to actually pair up with someone. And B, when you're working on a shop floor and you're being assessed against that machine 10 minutes away to have a coffee with someone can be really detrimental to the production from that machine, and we didn't take that into consideration. We just went, yeah, buddying's cool, we'll do that. Our CEO also hates the term buddy scheme, so if anyone's got a better idea of what to call it, if you could let me know, that would be great. The best thing we've come up with so far is one of our employees wants to call it the Logan system after himself. We also assumed that the build would be quick. There is a template in Enboarder, however, with the complexities of our business, it wasn't a quick build for us. We've got sort of 10 different teams with very different requirements that we wanted to get right first, and it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So on my to-do list to make things better is to show off our culture more. We're about to go through a nice big rebrand. This is a picture from our factory with our team all doing a team briefing. They're not allowed white t-shirts because they get too grubby. We need better visual content. You'll see from the slides they're all very red and dull and boring. We are going to do a big rebrand, have these nice bold colours, more video content, more pictures of our people working in a manufacturing facility that is our world-class manufacturing facility. We are going to use it to formally monitor our probation periods. So we're going to use it a lot more in those 30-day, 60-day, 90-day check-ins and hold managers accountable for that feedback that comes back through our CEO. And we will build in more training. We use OKRs as a measurement within the business. So we'll build an OKR training into the system so people are aware of what's going on as soon as they start. So my top tips for you guys. Truly understand the basic needs of each of your departments. It will make your build and make your experience of your candidates a lot better if the experience they're going through is relevant to the team that they are joining or the department they are joining. Train your managers super quickly on your vision and what you're going to be holding them accountable for. Otherwise, they will slump back into old ways really quickly because they don't like learning new things. MVP is something that we work to, so minimal viable product. Put something out. Make it interesting, but you can iterate and you can make it better and better and better in the future. And what I've shown you now is our first iteration. I now need to make that better the second time. And keep your data collection simple. Power is in data, we all know that. If you've got numbers that say X manager is doing really well, you can reward them. If you've got data that says a manager isn't doing well, you can hold them accountable and say, what are we going to do to work together to make sure your team are having as good of experience as this other team? And have some fun and be creative. Like I said, I stole a lot of my ideas from the guys at Onboarder, so thank you. But if you're much more creative than I am, put some things in that make the system fun.